Hello, everyone. It's Dinosa Jersey Shore Season 3, Episode 9 on that. And just wanted to kind of recap that episode and just talk about it just briefly. This episode was actually a lot more entertaining. It had a twist in the end, but I thought it was very good. Number one, with this episode, it talks about how single Ronnie, or Ronnie is still struggling with Sam, but it's not as so much the focus on this particular episode, which I think was good on that. But it also talks about how his really the whole episode kind of really focuses on Snooki on that, because we find a little thing. There's a few little sidetracks. First of all, Snooki goes out, meets this guy. I believe he hears Ronco, and one of the early episodes, I think his name, I want to say it's Ronco or Rinko or something like that. He hooks up with Snooki. And what happened was they found out this guy that was hooking up with Snooki was part of the same crew that came and broke up when Vinny was with this other girl on that earlier episode, and the whole family came to pull her away from Vinny. So, like, oh, we're going to take care of business. They took Snooki out. And it was really funny. That was actually really, really funny. But that's not the matter. So anyway, they kidnap Snooki, and she goes back, a-holes, whatever. And then so they go back, and they have a little fun. And then they smush. And then the guy doesn't understand about cuddling. And this is like, for some reason, some guys thinks this is cool, but it literally on the, I don't know, I'm not really speaking too much of experience here, but this thing about like, oh, I gotta be a man, I gotta be this, and and you just did smushed, and you're not gonna say thank you. I mean, hell, with Snooki, you might as well just said the money's on the dresser, get the hell out. I mean, seriously, you might as well just said that on that, or the money's on the dresser later. I mean, really, that's the thing, and I think in the long run, this is actually gonna hurt Snooki in some ways, because she's hooking up with guys, but she's not finding the right guy, and that's what's troubling her. And she actually, what's interesting is that the guy she was with, that they give her a hard time, he leaves. Then she calls, I believe his name is Nick, that the guy that was like married and stuff, and he's like, yeah, and she wants to go out with him. Now earlier she dissed him because he was like supposed engaged and not, and she was like, oh, freaking out. But then, like, the guy treated her this, so he calls Nick, which I think was jacked on Snooki's part, because she realized, oh, well, I had something good, and he was better, let's try him again, let's give him a second chance. And in some ways that's jacked on that, because, I don't know, in my opinion, it's a little jacked on Snooki's end, because it's like, hey, the guy, yeah, he might have been a little crazy, but the guy was actually treating you decently on that overall. I mean, he was treating you decently, was not treating you like this, and oh well. But anyway, here's the killer part of this. She contacts Nick. He says he's okay to do it. Roger, who is a JWoww's now boyfriend, I guess, I'm not sure what it is, on that, she finds out he's a mess, so she calls a friend of hers that knows the guy, Nick. Snooki here is like, well, Snooki hasn't heard from this guy. What's going on? Do you know what's going on? And the guy, the Roger's friend, told JWoww that Snooki hooked up not only with Nick, but also with this other guy, which happened to be, it was 3 different guys she hooked up with, and 2 of the guys happened to be cousins. Wow. And that was, Ronnie was laughing. He's like, Snooki's keeping it in the family. You got bust. All that. And Snooki's like, what did I do? And that's just one of those WTF moments. And that was funny. And that was really nice to see Ronnie laugh again. Very, very cool on that. So he's like, oh man, I'm an idiot, and whatever on that. So then we go on to Mike having to, Paulie waking people up because they have to go to work. And where Dina's hungover. They wake up Mike. Mike doesn't want to go to work, but he's going to go. So they go to work and they leave. And now we see the debut of the gas motorcycle, which everyone thought was freaking cool. So Dina goes out on a break, and they go out with her, and then they come back an hour later. They got the motorcycle, and they go back to work. They finish their work. They come back to the thing, and they start driving up on the roof with a motorcycle in circles, which is really cool. This is the episode I kind of wanted to see, and I guess in the trailers they made it look more badass than what it really was. Maybe they spun up the film or something, but they were like driving really slow. But it was really funny on that, and all the guys, like they said, like seeing Ronnie on that thing, or I forget who it was, it's like watching a bear drive a motorcycle. It was so hilarious because that bike was so small. But it's all something that they all had fun and games, and they all enjoyed it on that, which is really nice to see them all laughing again and having a good time with the bike. And then we go over to Sammy. Wow, I thought we were done with this, but no, we're going back more. She's having this conversation with her mom. Now, put this into perspective. If you were an actress or an actor in reality show at MTV, would you allow MTV to come in and videotape your mom telling you to be tough, go back, and if Ronnie's mean to you, I'll come talk to you, I'll talk to him about it? What? No. Act. Whatever. Please, Sammy. That was an act. Because most people here. But here's the interesting. Sammy talked to Thingy. So Sammy's on her way back. But Ronnie calls his dad up. Because, and this is during the whole motorcycle with the work. Ronnie calls his dad up to explain all the problems he's going through. But Ronnie actually's dad is a pretty cool dad. And he tells him, look, I know this freaking hurts. You've got to tough this out. You've got to, it will be better. On that, if you leave now, you're always going to be saying, what if? You're not in a life-death situation. On that, you tough it out. And you know what? And Ronnie decided to tough it out with his first father. And dads all had problems. That was a good dad. At that moment in time, that was a good dad. And you know what I really liked about Ronnie's dad? He looked like a dad. But he took care of himself, you know. He was actually in so much shape. He could eat. He could talk. He brought credibility to the table on that. Not some fat dad with like 4 bellies out, and just there's so many deadbeat fathers out there that just look horrible. Don't even take care of themselves on that. And this guy actually looked like a dad and had credible. He's like, look, you're my son. I love you, but you got to be a man. At this, and I'm always here for you, but you've got to do this. And he says they reminded him in his obligations, and he said, okay, thank you. And Ronnie decides to stay, which is really, really cool. So while Ronnie's having the conversation, and the crew comes back here, Snooki and Dino want to go to a club. I forget the name of the club, but then Mike picks up the phone because he's calling his sister, and he's getting a little pissed off at Dina. I don't know, there's some beef between Mike and Dina. I'm not sure what it is, but anyway, they're like, Mike, you need to drop the phone. He's like, I'll go to the phone. I'll pay for your cab for free. And he sends them to Times Square in New York. It was a joke. It was a very funny joke. Mean, but funny. And then they go off on their cab, Snooki and Dina, the meatballs as they call them, on that off to New York. Supposedly a club, they keep driving, and then everyone else is going to have dinner on that, and Mike is getting ready. He's like, 5 minutes, I'll be ready. 5 minutes. Everyone's waiting. Mike isn't down there yet. All right. So Mike comes in. Comes in and says, he's like just doing his thing, trying to get ready. And everyone's like, I'm leaving. We've waited long enough. We gave him 5 minutes. This is jacked. Okay. So they all leave, and then Mike's there by himself. He's like, well, what the hell? I don't get this. So he talked, JWoww shows up with her pups. Alright, and he's like, look, everybody left me. And like, you want to go get something to go? And then, so JWoww drives him to go get something to go. And you know what, there's something kind of interesting about this, which I thought was really bizarre on that. I'm not too sure if you all saw this. The Cadillac, it's obviously a Cadillac Escalade. The Cadillac symbol on the center of the Escalade was blurred out. I mean, it's obvious this damn thing is a Cadillac Escalade. It's not a Lincoln Navigator to look like an Escalade. It's a Cadillac Escalade. But the Cadillac emblem was blurred out. What the... Huh? You know what that is? That is over corporation. That is, MTV did not want to pay Cadillac to use their symbol, but yet they still got their cars. It doesn't make sense on that. Unless I'm not too sure who was being the more greedy one, that one, but that was stupid. That was atrocious. Here's the Cadillac, the whole grill. Here's the emblem, and it's blurred. And in the blur, you could still see the Cadillac emblem. You could still see it's the Cadillac emblem, but blurred. It didn't make any sense, but whatever. So anyway, Mike and all go get their food. Eat. Well, Mike is like kind of like, "Hi, Vinny, how are your day?" and all that. And JL's like, I'm sorry. And Mike's a little mad, but he's being Mike. He's cool about this. So the guys come back after eating, and they're like, "Oh, I'm so stuffed." Mike's like, "You know what? They didn't look at me. They knew what they did. It was jacked up. Even after I bought them, like, Polly that motorcycle for his birthday with the game, he was a little pissed. But you know what? He wasn't immature about it. He says, okay, I think they understand how upset I am." So they just left it at that. Then the girls come home and they're like, "Fuck you, Mike. Fuck you. You're a bitch, blah, blah, blah." Mike actually stepped up and said, "You know what? I thought you would be smart enough to figure out you were going the wrong way about, I think at the turnpike." He said, "You were supposed to turn around at the turnpike. You should have realized at that moment in time you were going the wrong way." So they're like, and Mike's like, "Intelligence factor, I don't get this. You should have realized you were going the wrong way at that point." But you know, and they all made up at the end. Now, while everyone's making up, everybody's having a good time, guess who walks into the door? Sammy. Didn't announce, didn't say she was coming, she comes back. And Ronnie goes out the back. You could see Ronnie in his face like, what the frickin' hell? He did not know what to do about this. He didn't know whether to greet her. He misses her, but he's like this. I don't know what he's thinking. One way, he may be thinking this woman's playing with my mind, but we're going to have to find out what it's all about in the next episode on that. But you could see his face like, what did I do? And it was confusion. It was and Sam had that ability. Now, granted, all guys, when you don't get flirted with a lot, you got a pretty girl flirt, so they go, "Hey," and they're idiots. And I'll go on the record, ladies and gentlemen, I'll go there, men are freaking idiots. Yes, they will. You get a pretty girl eye, and they don't have the know-how, the thing up here to think, and a pretty girl shows up, they'll buy them drinks every freaking time. I know, I've been there. So, anyway, watch the next episode, and we'll go from there. Anyway, see you later. Bye.